and I have fun for surreal. You just can't beat California surf. This is in Point Lobos in California, and which is a very famous spot for black and white photographers, because that's where Ansel Adams and his whole crew and many, many, many photographers have spent hours at. And I got a chance to go there a couple years ago, and just texture in the water, texture in the rocks. And for black and white photography, it's sometimes hard to pull all those things together: bright white water, dark rocks. So it's always a challenge, because it's a little bit harder to do than I think it is with color. Our eyes are better at looking at color differences than we are at black and white differences.
Now with this picture, you can almost feel the mist from the ocean, or that's the feeling I get from it.
And feelings being evoked by photographs are some of the most wonderful things about photography. And when I look at that, of course, I'm there. I've got the whole experience around it, how hard it was to sit there, and how long it took me to get that picture. But when you come by and get a feeling for it, that's like, oh, that's great. That's glorious. Outside of Toledo, Ohio, there's this pine forest that got planted 30 or 40 years ago, and I'd been going there ever since I was a little boy, and loved the symmetry of the stillness and the symmetry of that place. And I have been back there every time I go to Toledo, and it's so overgrown it's not useful. So I was so lucky to get there when it was like that.
I think that's a beautiful picture.
And the lighting was soft. You know, you try to get there early in the mornings to get the soft lighting, and so there's no big contrast, and it's very, very special place for me. Oak Openings Park, downtown Washington, D.C. I have a propensity for trees, and these are just glorious misty trees. You know, it's hot summer morning in downtown. The mall is just to the right of those trees. That's one of my favorite photographs. Part of Unspace, again, it is, that's actually an old abandoned house in 221 in Forest. And I do spend time, or used to spend a lot of time, finding old abandoned places and kind of trespassing occasionally. Trying to be nice. I would ask permission if I could find somebody, and very cautiously went into these places because of the danger of sometimes of these old ramshackle places. But this got an award in Black and White magazine a couple years ago, and it is just, it's lonely, it's a little bit depressing, and yet again, it's texture, there's always a window, you know, can always get out. Most of my images of these unspaced places, these dark kind of unspaced places, always have a way to get out. You know, there is light, there is hope, and right in there is a doll on those mattresses.
Oh,
it's a little baby doll that's headless. It's kind of creepy, but it was there. I just, you know, I'm not going to remove it. You can't make that stuff up. This won an award in Black and White magazine too. They have they have an annual single image photo award, and so for years I've tried, and every so often I get one in. This is Snowden Dam, and I sort of walked around the footbridge in Snowden Dam and kind of hiked up to the side of it and caught the reflection of the clouds in the water prior to where the spillway drops off, and it's very sensual. It's just very sensual photograph for me. Water is very sensual for me too. This one won an award also in Black and White magazine, and there is a story to this. Can I explain it?
Please.
This is Zion National Park, and I had wanted to go to Zion for a long time, and because I'm pretty convinced because of this image, somehow I knew it was going to happen. And the water was real high. Normally you can walk in this river, the Virgin River in Zion, and it's usually ankle deep. But it was May, spring runoff. It was high. It was sometimes up to our chest. So we didn't think we could do it, and I said, no, we have to do it. And so I found an outfitter that would rent us dry suits. So you could walk through this and not, because the water's 40 degrees. And so we took a day and walked up, and I could only bring one camera because our backpacks were not dry, so you had to rent dry backpacks. So long story short, we go all the way into this for miles and miles, and then on the way back, I'm down to 2 sheets of film, and the film comes in sheet packs. And there's this picture, and I said, well, this is why I'm here. I mean, I literally knew it. And my tripod by that time was broken. It wouldn't rise any higher than this. And I had 2 sheets of film. And also my camera lens no longer opened properly. So I said, I got to make this picture. And so I sat in the mud down at this level, and I made that picture. And it's
an incredible picture.
It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite, probably, photograph. And it is, it's hanging on the wall of Howard Bond's house right now. And Howard Bond is just a world-famous teacher and photographer. And I took a workshop with him this past fall, and we traded photographs, and he took that. That's like, the greatest honor you could have. Part of Unspace Images, this is in Upper Michigan, and it's an old ore loader where they would drive ore from the hills down on these giant buildings and then dump the ore to the sides. There would be ships on both sides of this thing. And one of those things, I saw it from a distance, and we were about ready to get on an airport, and I said, we got to go. I loved that photograph. Under a bridge in Columbus, Ohio, and I've had a lot of fun with this place. And it is a spectacular series of archways, and I've photographed it under a million different lighting situations, and very nice. And this is part of Unspace also, an old house somewhere in Bedford County, traveling around, and I stopped, and there it was, and I couldn't find anybody to ask, and so I drove another quarter of a mile down, and I found Mr. John B. And he says, yeah, I know where that house, you can probably go there. So this is John B.'s house. Okay. This is a building that's no longer here. It's gone. About last year or so, this is on the property of Griffin Pipe. And this used to be an old Lynchburg, I think an ice house. And unfortunately, they tore it down. Probably very good for everyone else, but not for me. I missed it. And just the square hole and the round circles was why I took it.
Bill, do you know how many more pictures we've got? I hate to cut them off. This is beautiful.
This was this last winter we had, when we had all that snow, and I drove up to the 501 North, and I'm on those curvy roads in 501 going to Glasgow, and pull on the side of the road and stop. I had a lot of fun with that.
Maybe we can just stop them. Oh, it was the end of it anyway.
Oh, very good.
Are you exhibiting anything anywhere right now?
Other than what's going to be coming up at the AFA,
right,
in September 3rd or something. Okay. Nothing right now.
All right.
I had a show in earlier this year.
If people are interested in seeing your work, you have a website. Could you tell them what that is?
It's myname.com. It's johnshuptrine.com.
Okay. All right. I so appreciate you coming and being my guest and bringing this beautiful, beautiful photography of yours. I hope you've enjoyed being here.
I have. Thank you.
All right. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Lynchburg ophthalmologist Dr. Darren Bowers and his wife Pam will be my guest on the next show, telling us about their ophthalmology mission to impoverished areas in Honduras. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.